welcome to the first Wander in the Wight video, where we take a peek at some of the interesting history of the Isle of Wight. There are many historical subjects to explore, from inventions to people, events to places, and general daily life for islanders throughout the ages. In honour of the death of Queen Victoria 120 years ago on the 22nd of January 1901 at Osborne House, today's episode is Whippingham Station. As ever, feel free to add comments below, including suggestions on future topics. Whippingham Station was opened on the 20th of December 1875 on what was then the Ryde and Newport Railway, which was inaugurated the same day, running from Newport to Ryde St John's. There is, however, the suggestion that the intermediate stations of the Ryde and Newport did not come into operation until March of 1876. Not that this mattered to Whippingham, as the station held a rather special status, for Whippingham was the preserve of royalty. The location of Whippingham was designed to be as close as possible to Osborne House, home of Queen Victoria, and the station was a private one for the use of residents and visitors. The idea was that a train could be caught in London and then a passenger ship from Portsmouth to Ryde Pier, followed by a jolly jaunt to St John's Road, where a train could whisk you at pedestrian pace to Whippingham. In Portsmouth there was even a special branch of the main line that went over a viaduct straight into the Royal Dockyard, and a canopy was built so that the Queen wouldn't get wet when alighting and transferring to a steamer. It is, however, unknown if Victoria herself ever undertook such a trip, as Osborne House had its own landing pier, and it is more likely that senior people went straight there. More likely is that Whippingham was generally used by middle and low-ranking visitors and staff. One of the problems with this elaborate travelling route was that Whippingham Station, despite being literally the closest point to Osborne as the Ryde and Newport could make it, could not really be described as near to anything. The village of Whippingham is some 1¼ miles away, and Osborne House is 2 miles as the crow flies, thus necessitating yet another transfer, this time by coach over the bumpy island roads, so I would imagine the Queen preferred the direct route. In fact, the only documented time that Queen Victoria ever used the station in person was to travel to the opening of the Royal National Hospital Ventnor, although given that she travelled all over the island, including to Ventnor on other occasions, further uses of Whippingham Station cannot be discounted. Quite what she made of the antiquated rolling stock used by all the island railway companies is not recorded. In time, Queen Victoria saw that use of the station by locals would be of considerable benefit to them, and slowly she allowed the station to be open for general use. George A. Wade, writing in 1903 for the Railway magazine, has this to say about the station. It would indeed be difficult to find a more lovely spot than Whippingham, or a nicer station for a country village than is the one there. It has seen many historic sites too, being probably the only private railway station, in our time, that can boast of such renown. Royalties from far and near have detrained, men and women famous over the world have trodden its platform when visiting or leaving the great Queen of England. It has witnessed the joy of marriages and the pain of deaths amongst the royal family, and in a way no other station has done. Whippingham Station was linked to another remarkable woman, Mrs. Emily Merwood, being appointed station master in 1900. Overcoming the stereotypes of the day, Mrs. Merwood held the position on merit, despite many of the time assuming that she had inherited the position upon the death of her husband. In fact, it had been her father-in-law who had passed away, and her husband maintained his own profession as a plate-layer on the railways, and was still very much alive. Kelly's directory lists Mrs. Merwood at Whippingham Station in 1911, but by 1921 her and her husband were listed as living at the station house in Wootton, so perhaps by then she had swapped due to the decline in the importance of Whippingham. Emily Merwood was proud of her reputation and stated that she never had any accident or disturbance at her station, a good thing for a station of royal importance. Whippingham Station itself was quite a grand affair for a rural location, no doubt due to its status as a private station for the Queen. It is, however, a mirror of the station used at Ashy, some 3 stops up the line, although there are reasons why Ashy was also so grand, which I may well cover in a later video. The down platform towards Newport was quite simple and had only a wooden hut for protection while waiting. This platform was shortened by British Rail after nationalisation. In 1912, a passing loop was added by the then Isle of Wight Central Railway. Following a considerable drop in use, the station closed to passengers on the 21st of September 1953, with the line itself closing on the 21st of February 1966 due to the beaching cuts. There was one last hurrah for the line, as the Wight Locomotive Society, the forerunner of the now Isle of Wight Steam Railway that runs between Wootton and Smallbrook Junction, were given a week's notice to quit Newport Station, where they had been holding and maintaining their stock. And so, after 5 years of disuse, on the 24th of January 1971, a series of workings transferred a multitude of vehicles and equipment to their new Haven Street base. The last of 5 runs hauled by W24 Cowbourne was also the last to stop at Whippingham, this time to blow off steam due to over-enthusiastic shovelling by the volunteer firemen. During the day, another stop had also been made, to post a letter to Queen Elizabeth II from the old royal station. Today, Whippingham Station is a private residence, and the old trackbed a cycle and footpath. There are still remnants to be seen, including gates at the entrance to the station and the down platform, now covered in scrub, the shelter long since demolished. The up platform has been surrounded by a wooden fence to provide the occupants privacy from nosy video makers. On a good day, with the wind in the right direction, you can still hear the occasional whistle of a steam train as they arrive and depart from Wootton Station just up the old line, now the terminus of the Isle of Wight Steam Railway. Plans to extend the preserve line back towards Newport come and go, but who knows? Maybe one day another royal will visit Whippingham Station to reopen it once more, although it still won't be anywhere near Whippingham. I hope that you have enjoyed this inaugural video of Wandering the Wight. Please like and subscribe to catch the next instalment.